All right, welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. Monday Night Football, Liguilla time, Semifinales. This is the Mexican Soccer Show. We'll start in about 10 seconds. Giving you time to get to your computer. Giving you time if you're listening to this in your car. Telling everybody to be quiet because the Mexican Soccer Show is going to be on. All right. Welcome to our edition of the Mexican Soccer Show on Monday nights. I'm Wiesel from BootlegSource.com. We're starting on time today, a couple of minutes over. A great weekend of Liguilla, record-breaking in the ratings. You know, America and Chivas beating every other sport. It's amazing to have Mexican soccer on HD, at least at my level, since I have no cable and I was able to see most of the games here in the United States. We're going to have fun this hour, talk all about Liguilla. We'll focus on all the games that just happened the last week, especially that super clásico, el Clásico Nacional, que de veras estuvo one of my favorites, definitely the games that I've seen in a while. Just the drama, what's happening. It doesn't matter if you're an Americanista or a Chivas, you were biting your nails at one point of the match. Johnny, admit it. We'll get to you in a minute. But lots of fun. Today we'll have our experts obviously here with us. Mr. Tom Marshall, who is all in blue today. I don't know if the reason, but hopefully it's not because of Rayados. More like purple. Tom, how you doing, man?
I'm good. You have no idea why it's this color. I've just got no idea. I tried to do things, but I'm not very good at technology, like, so I'll just have to be blue today, won't I?
Tom Marshall's beyond the wall with the White Walkers.
Yeah, not coming back.
Great to see you yesterday at on Twitter. Videos that are coming up from a rainy Azteca, and then it almost got showered with all of the. I'm sure you had some beer thrown at you over there at Palco de Prensa. But fun times, huh?
Yeah, no, it's an experience going to the Azteca. I mean, Naib goes more than me. But I mean, I bought this big like poncho thing or whatever. It's like you just put all over your body, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be good for the rain. And then like in the press box, I can like put it on, and like when they score and they throw beer, then it'll be, I can stop it going on my computer. I can cover my computer. So I was like, two birds, one stone basically with the poncho purchase. So that's what I went for. And yeah, it turned out to do the job.
Well, there it is. Mr. Naib Moran skipped last week. Traveling now. We're back. Yes, you are. You're always at the Azteca. You're there in Mexico City. Naib, interesting weekend. A lot of people watching. A lot of, like I said, nail biting. Así me gusta la Liga Mx.
Sí. Yeah, you're right. Lisa, first of all, good evening to Johnny and Tom. La audiencia. That's the special thing about the Liguilla, is that the games are usually exciting, and when you have two clásicos, of course, it's going to be even more exciting to what we used to, because, for example, the Pachuca Santos wasn't a clásico, but also had its excitement towards the end of the second leg match. So I think, in general, that's what we like about the Liguilla. And that's why it's so popular in the U.S., with the ratings, like you said in the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's exciting to see where obviously what's happening in the weekend and what's coming up. Everyone's all excited. Mr. Johnny Rico, how's it going, sir? Well, wearing a black shirt. I would have thought you would have had your Americanista shirt, your Águilas, but you decided to be classy and not wear anything, just black. I like it. Johnny, how are you, man? I'm sure you're excited today. Johnny, you there?
Definitely. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Don't be spreading rumors that I'm classy. That's just defamation of character. I'm not wearing America jerseys because I used them up all weekend.
You're sweating.
I needed the good vibes this weekend, so they're all used up. But yeah.
How many did you go through?
It's about 2 a day for Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
ask
So
anymore.
I barely survived that. I mean, you guys say it was a fun game. It was not fun for me. I brink of a heart attack the
Good,
entire time.
good. Glad we're starting the game. I mean, we're starting the podcast off with a little honesty. Johnny, I thought you would come in here and be like, I knew you were gonna do it, and you come in here already with, I had a heart attack. So that means it was a good game for you. You had your doubts, but we'll go into that in a minute, Johnny. I'll give you some time. I'll give you the Johnny corner, of course, because America did win. But as you can see, I normally don't wear any jerseys, and I stopped. But you know what? Today I was like, why not? Let's go ahead and bust out all the 19 different logos that I have in the Leon shirts. So I'm sure I'll be getting something from that. But I'm wearing my Leon shirt today. Hopefully, they could be the dark horse. I don't think anyone has them picked to be in the final, much less winning. So we'll just keep with the good vibes, And we'll do that. But lots to talk about today. Thinking everybody is on the chat already on the podcast. If you're not on your if you're on your phone and you want to get into the chat, get to a computer, get to a desktop, to a laptop, and you're able to see Salvador Mares, Samuel Jimenez, all the guys from Pancho Villa's Army, Christopher Ortuño, and Fernando Estrada. Saludos a todos. Joel, everyone's on there already, making sure that the conversation keeps going. And I'm already getting green. Already people saying the Leon jersey is nice. Saludos a todos. Everyone's so nice right now, but I'm sure it's going to be that way, especially when they identify themselves on the chat if they're Americanistas or Chivistas. But we will see where we were going. But let's go ahead and get started, not waste any more of your time. And thanks a lot for watching, and everyone at home and everyone wherever they are. Let's get right into it, guys. Today's flow, we'll just start with what everyone wants to talk about, that America Chivas game, the great rivalry. Great to see a Clásico Nacional, the ratings, the drama, the missed penalty kicks. Let's just dive right in. Let's get first reactions from you guys, and we'll start conversation from there. Then we'll go to the other games. We'll preview next weekend what's coming up, give you a little information on what's coming up at the Copa America a little bit towards the end. But let's go right into it. What everyone wants to talk about, America Chivas, in the game where, just like Johnny said, he wasn't tweeting, and when Johnny's not tweeting, that means that he's nervous. So that means that everyone was, from our friends, the Stray Goats, all the Chivas friends that we have on Twitter. I know everyone was excited. It could have gone both ways. But, Tom, I know you went to the stadium. We were tweeting right before, and what looked to be everyone's excited to get there. In fact, so excited that I think on the news, one of the biggest stories was also this pregnant lady that was trying to get into the stadium with a bunch of fireworks, got caught with bengalas, and I definitely thought it was hilarious. I mean, that's the intensity of the game. You're willing to get arrested to get some fireworks in there. And faking a pregnancy, that right there, amigos and amigas, that is passion.
That's the main take.
That's it. That's what happens. Tom, reactions from the game.
No, yeah, it was a brilliant series. I thought, two very good teams, full stadiums, amazing atmospheres. I mean, as an advert for the game, I thought it was really good. As for the Mexican League, thought they put on a really good show. And at the end of the day, Chivas came very close. But for me, I think the fact that America have been in these games before. They've been in these quarterfinals, the 9 straight liguillas. They've been in the, CONCACAF Champions League, in the playoffs, and Chivas haven't had any of that experience over the last few years. And I thought, especially in the second half in the Azteca, I thought that America experience came through. I thought they managed in the end to kind of to play on the counter attack like they could at, and I thought they looked extremely dangerous doing that. And I thought that in the end they looked the better team and the one most likely to get more goals, even though Chivas were pushing. So I'd say, we can debate all day. We can go back to the William da Silva penalty incident in the first game. We can go to Carlos Peña's penalty miss in the second, which was obviously massive.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just thought America at the end had a little bit more firepower, and those guys, did the job for him in the end. And I thought that was the difference. I mean, that Peralta goal was brilliant. I mean, clinical counter-attack, Darwin Quintero down the left into Peralta, and bang. I mean, that's what America do to you. But yeah, I think more than anything, the difference for me was in the second half of that second leg. I just thought America have just got much more experience and nous about how to, the game management, how to manage those situations. Whereas Chivas, I thought, look, they got really tired. And then you looked at the Chivas bench and you've got Michel Vasquez. You look at the America bench and you got Benedetto, and international quality players, and it's I felt like Chivas have had a really good season, but they're not quite at the level of America right now.
What are you talking about? They had trophies. I mean, trophies is right there, and
you know what? I
Exactly.
kind of gave the same. Yeah, I kind of gave the same analysis that Sam gave in a bunch of different words. The better it was shown who the better team is. America are just used to being there, are used to winning, and you could tell that Chivas kind of overachieved and were into over their heads at this stage of the competition. They were prepared to fight relegation. They weren't prepared to fight for a title, and that's America's identity is fighting for titles. So that what Tom was talking about, that second half was so key. You could tell that Chivas could not put together 3 passes in that second half. The pressure of the moment.
I don't know what that was. Sorry, Johnny.
When Johnny's
that's where producers are already knocking you off on things that you're saying. My bad. I'm sorry, Johnny.
Yeah, no. So Chivas couldn't put together 3 passes in that second half. You could tell that they were crumbling under the pressure of the situation of being down a goal, of having to chase the game. They could not figure out how to do that.
And I think one quick point about Chivas is the forward situation. I think the forward situation or the striker situation, to put it specifically, was the fact that Omar Bravo and Saldívar, it's sort of 2 poles. One is too old and the other is too young. You don't have that middle ground or that good striker in the Mexican team, an all-Mexican club. And I think that played a big role in this series. I think if Chivas had 1 or 2 forwards that were national team caliber, then I think this match would have gone a little bit farther than it actually went. It all came down for Chivas with Gullit Peña. And once Gullit Peña was out of it, Chivas offense just depleted. And also, Brizuela was out of it as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
No, I think Johnny was a bit harsh. I don't think, this was one-way game. I thought America had a bit of luck as well. You look at, obviously the penalty. If Peña puts that penalty in and they go in at 2-1 at half-time, and America has to minimum get 2 goals and are forced to kind of push forward, then I think all of a sudden it's a completely different game. But because Peña missed that penalty, America could play like they played best, which is when in the final third they've got spaces to move, and that was without Sambuesa as well. So I don't think there was a massive difference, but I just thought America had that little bit of luck, obviously, with the penalty incident in the first game, and then Peña missing. But overall, I thought it was quite an even series, and like Naib said there, that I thought it was defined by Chivas not being able to put on quality players, whereas America was just so deep there. But I think that I'm seeing on the chat here, people saying about Chivas and who they need and stuff like that. I don't think they're a long way off. Obviously Peña he had an awful game against America in the Azteca, and I don't think he played well in the first leg either. You need your big players to step up. He didn't do it. Brizuela as well was quiet. You needed more from Brizuela. But apart from that, I think Chivas have got a decent midfield. Obviously, how long can Carlos Salcido go on is a question mark. Up front, obviously they need somebody. That's just absolutely obvious. But I think that overall this season has been entirely positive for Chivas because they found a manager who plays nice football, and more than anything, a manager who the owner believes in. Chivas, and that's massive. That's been the biggest problem that Chivas have had for so many years. They've not been able to find any stability within the institution. So now I think that Almeida's going to stay there, and I think honestly, a couple more players in for Chivas, and I think we can see him challenging for titles. I honestly do. I think the momentum behind him right now is huge, and this was a game of very, very little difference between the teams, and in the end, America got it. But Chivas have got a lot of reason to be positive moving forward.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. I tweeted after the game, Chivas fans, imagine going 8 games without winning starting to. I mean, it was already, people were jumping on the Chivas was getting relegated even last season. We know that probably wasn't going to happen in the help of Dorados, but then, not winning at games, players not being there, we kept having the same conversation. I think I remember starting the podcast every Monday. What's going on in Guadalajara?
What's going on? Yeah.
Tom, and you were telling us, but then all of a sudden Chivas came in and was the better team at the end of the season. The last 8 games had especially not losing 8 games and coming in. Luck of the draw is obviously they got America. I think is one of the best teams in Liga Mx, especially man and man and in each position what they have. You said it best. They have Benedetto. We have Chivas has trophies. Chivas has just like just like you said. I mean, there's a mass difference, but the fact that they were able to play and it wasn't so one-sided. When they were at where they weren't playing in the first. Obviously in the ida. It wasn't like such a dominating America. I didn't think it was a very boring game, even though it was a tie. And then going into the
No,
Azteca, you saw
yeah,
that.
I mean, at the end of the day, in the first leg, Hugo Gonzalez and America's players were just wasting time.
Mhm.
They were, and that was in the first half of the first leg. And I mean, that's why Almeida after the first leg was like, big teams shouldn't be playing in this way. What's going on? They should absolutely take the game to the opposition. And I thought that brought some really, really nice friction into the second leg, because then you're going from America basically sitting back in Estadio Chivas, honestly wasting time. I mean, I was there and you could see how long they were taking to just a basic throw-in. And it's like, you could see that really frustrated Almeida, it really frustrated Chivas. But the big question going to the second game, they're going to do now. And I just thought the experience came through, the fact that they've been in these games, and they didn't kind of rise to the bait, because I thought Almeida as well was kind of saying that to try and goad Ambriz into sending his team to go all out, and he didn't take it. I mean, but at the end of the day, I thought Chivas were absolutely brilliant for 15 minutes. I mean, I thought Orbelin Pineda for the first 30 minutes of that game, he scored an amazing goal. He won a penalty. I thought he was absolutely running the show. I mean, that's a 20-year-old Mexican kid. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of positives for Chivas from this season.
Well,
Telling you told me that I was a bit harsh on Chivas. I don't claim that this was a completely one-sided game for America, or series for America, but I think the difference in class was shown when each team were down by a goal. Chivas get that early goal, and what does America do? They stay calm. They push forward, but not they don't lose their mind trying to just go all out attack. They know how to kind of play in these situations when they're down in the score line. And even if Carlos Peña makes that penalty, and America needs to go for 2 goals, they've been down 2 goals in playoffs before. They've been while down a man with 2 minutes left in the game, and they still end up winning the series.
not against Chivas, against your bitter
No, but
rival.
yeah.
Against it's a
They've done it.
They did it against Cruz Azul, which is probably just as bitter rival as Chivas.
No, don't tell me it feels better to beat.
No, but I mean,
team
right
than
there,
Chivas.
The point that Johnny's saying right there about, and the one that Tom is also saying, is the experience that America has. Now, Tom described right now that a 20-year-old Mexican player was basically being the heart and soul of Chivas in those first 30 minutes. With America, even though Peralta, Benedetto, and Quintero are not that, sharp at the moment, because when you see those three, only Peralta has scored in the last 6 games. Benedetto and Quintero haven't scored in the last 6 Liga Mx games. The key for America has been Osvaldito Martinez, who has so much experience, and it's sort of undervalued at a certain extent, because when you have Osvaldito Martinez on the midfield, well, America really didn't even miss Sambuesa, which is really surprising, because in these type of matches is what you need is control. And I think that's something that Ambriz has learned through the months as America's coach, because if you remember that semifinal series against Pumas, where they got whooped 3-0 at Azteca, Ambriz just went all-out attack. It was like crazy. And now here with Chivas is take it a step by step. play the 180 minutes and see what happens. And at the end, they came out victorious. And it was unfortunate because I think, Chivas did their game as well. It wasn't, sad, boring or anything. I just think that at the end it was the experience that got that advantage.
Yeah, it's been interesting as well in Guadalajara seeing like I know there's like Americanistas are cynical about it, but seeing like Chivas fans kind of all of a sudden kind of connecting with the team and absolutely backing them, and it's been but it's been amazing to see, and actually it's what the league needs. The league has desperately needed a Clásico like that. I feel like it's been so many years since we've had a Clásico Nacional where both teams are going in, and you can legitimately say there's not much between them. Like it's a difficult game to kind of go one way or the other. And like before, I feel like in recent years, and even going back to like 2010 when America before Belize came in were awful. I remember they were like 17th in the league and stuff. So I feel it's like being back and forth, and finally we've had like America 4th in the league, Chivas 5th, and we've had a game where we didn't know exactly what was going to happen, or there wasn't a big favourite. I mean, I think it's been really refreshing to to view this game in that context.
No, definitely. I mean, I definitely agree. Obviously, I did say that America deserved to win. I got a lot of crap for that on Twitter, by the way, but from the Chivas fans. And I even said it. I was predicting that America, of course, coming in there. I would say though, I think if they needed 2 more goals, and the pressure was there in the Azteca. As much as you think that you had enough time, you still had players that had problems committing fouls and red cards, and we've seen what happens to America under that type of pressure when someone starts getting yellow or the ref makes a mistake. Not as bad as what happened in Tigres, but at the same time, I was actually surprised that there weren't other dumb fouls. Actually, there was with what happened with Peña's PK. But at the same time, they were able to win. It was dramatic. It's exactly what all of the fans wanted to see. A game where it wasn't so one-sided. Any team could have had it. And as much as I hate goal difference, the ida, the vuelta, whatever the goals, I think it just makes it up. It's so great to know that if one team scored, there's not a tie and then a win. I mean, it's over. And I love Liga MX in that aspect. I mean, as much as it's a lot of people are talking about Liguilla being that money making type of games, this is what it's all about. So good to see that.
No, it was great being there as well. I mean,
yeah.
The atmosphere. There's few places in the world where you'll see a game like that as much intensity. And I know I've said it quite a few times on the podcast, but you get mixed fans, so you get like obviously America fans were in the majority on Sunday. It's probably about 70-75%. But they're all mixed. Chivas fans are all mixed in there. You know what I mean? And it was the same last Thursday in Guadalajara. You had mainly Chivas fans, but then and there's not. Obviously there's going to be incidents, but it's refreshing to see that it goes down and it's it's largely just a great atmosphere and people more of a friendly rivalry. I don't think it couldn't happen in other countries. Like I said before, there's just no way you could get people there. I mean, I wish they wouldn't throw beer on there when they scored a goal. I don't really get it.
What are you gonna do? You gotta celebrate, Tom. It's not like they're choosing to throw beer. I mean, you're there, you're watching, your team score. It's not like you can move and you have that contraption where the beer stays in one place. I mean, it's gonna happen, brother.
It's 90 pesos a beer, actually. I mean, I don't know, like 90 pesos it's not, you don't come by with 90 pesos, and you gotta have some money to be throwing the beer. That's for sure.
Dude, it doesn't matter. Come on, when's the last time?
In the Estadio Jalisco, it never happens, and Estadio Chivas never happens. It happens in Tijuana, and it happens in Azteca.
Well, when's the last time you sat with Tom? When's the last time you sat with the people? You know what I mean? Like, come on. Chivas doesn't the OmniLife in Jalisco, the Palco de Prince. I've seen the Palcos at the Jalisco, bro. They're way up there.
Yeah, no.
So there's no way that the beer's gonna go up.
I've never seen it even once in the Estadio Jalisco.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, because I've seen it. You guys are so high up there that the beer, everyone's below you.
No, I'm talking about, I've been loads of time, like, around the stadium, man. Yeah. Honestly, I've never seen it. Azteca is, like, famous for it, and even, like, Naive, you've been to other, going around, like, covering games. It's like, I don't know what's up with it, but I don't know.
It happens in
I had it in played at Estadio Cuauhtémoc over there in the Chivas Puebla game.
Yeah.
There was a lot of beer in that one as well.
I
So
think
I
it
mean, I don't know if
happened.
something. I don't know if it has to do in the center or something. Leon is nice actually.
Yeah,
Leon, I
just
haven't had an incident
it's
there,
just no
so I love
Wi-Fi.
it.
Just no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the
It's no
Azteca needs to
Wi-Fi.
sort that out, man.
Oh
Honestly,
yeah.
it's like they're doing all these like renovations, and like, well, we'll see what it's going to end up like. But honestly, Mexico are talking about holding a kind of World Cup and all that. You got like 80, 90,000 people in that stadium on Sunday, and it's an amazing historic stadium. And the year is 2016, and they
Now
can't
wait,
provide internet.
Tom, as a business, why would America or Estadio Azteca prevent people from throwing beer when right after a goal, sales are gonna go up because everybody now needs a new beer?
Well,
That's actually the most interesting, the smartest point you've ever made, Johnny. That makes perfect sense, Johnny, businessman. I'm just
It
kidding,
you
man.
know,
Yeah, but
No, it makes sense. It
lot,
does. But you know what? Hold on.
logic.
It does happen. It does happen in L3 games. Like when you're there, and you get. I mean, if you're in the fans and stuff, you're gonna get beer if they score, especially if you're in a rowdy section or the Pancho Villa's Army guys can tell us a little bit more about that. But we'll see at that. All right, going a little bit off topic. Let's talk about the other games that happened, and then we'll preview what the semifinales that are coming up this weekend. We have the horarios ready to go for you if you haven't heard them yet. But let's talk about the other clásico, el clásico regio. So much was coming in, especially with Monterrey being the leader, being the team that is playing the best football, I think, especially closing it out. The complete team from front to back, and then obviously Tuca's team, right? Being down by that much in the first from not um, taking advantage of that home field from the first game. A lot of people, needing 4 goals, but it started happening on that very first half. 1 goal, 2 goal. I mean, we started to see, and it started getting interesting. Is what everybody else wanted. Reactions from that game, especially what happened again. The train just derailing on the pressure in 2 minutes of what can happen, especially when there is Tuca's direction getting called out, then the goal, and then it just kind of spiraled from there. I feel like Tigres had the chance, had the momentum, but then that second half, something happened that was there. But we'll start with you, Naive. Another great Clásico. It wasn't until obviously that goal, that Monterrey goal after Tuca had already been sent off. I almost wanted to see if he was going to do that little, behind the chairs kind of, I'll still be right here like he's known for. But overall, Gignac, the most powerful man in the world for Mexican, especially Tigres players, the most
The
expensive
Monterrey
team.
the Monterrey Stadium is too new and too classy for anyone to hide behind the benches.
To hide from there. But Naive, tell us, overall, the reaction from the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall it was good. Like the Clásico Nacional was a good advert for Liga MX, but I think the Clásico Regio was up there as well. I mean, you have Carlos Sanchez who's gonna be in the Copa Centenario. Gignac is gonna go to the Euro, which wasn't expected when he first signed for Tigres back last year, basically. So you have all of these players. Basanta already played in a World Cup. And I think that's what made it special. Just the number of players and the number of minutes played in Europe by many of these players. So I think when it comes to to a spectacle, I think it was great. 7 goals, an aggregate score of 4-3. I think Tigres did really well in the second leg. Once I think what hurt them was Juninho's red card. Once that happened, everything came down before them for Tigres fans. But when it comes to the goals and the assists and the show itself with the crowds, the packed stadiums at Estadio Universidad and then BBVA Bancomer, I think it had all the ingredients of a great game. And worth pointing out how important Cesar Montes was. Another youngster. So thankfully, in this league where there's a lot of extranjeros and naturalizados, Orbelín Pineda and Cesar Montes have given great shows, and I think that's great to see.
Definitely great to see. Tom, fracaso para Tuca?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, kind of. But I thought in the first game it was maybe the best they've played all season. Honestly, I thought that the 3-1 result wasn't a really fair reflection. Although Monterrey were absolutely clinical, so you can't say it was lucky for Monterrey because they played. That was the perfect game. That was exactly how Mohamed saw the game. They were going to score 3 goals, and that was how they wanted it to go. But at the same time, Tigres had a lot of possession, and I thought they actually did stuff with the possession this time as well. I mean, Jonathan Orozco was absolutely amazing in goal. He made a few outstanding saves. So yeah, like Naib said, I thought it was an absolutely brilliant game. And then in the second leg, I think that obviously Tigres were up against it, and they did a great job to get where they were. Couple of things I'd say: Monterrey slightly worrying. I think it was slightly worrying that when they had the pressure on like that, they didn't look like they had kind of the reply. And I know, we chatted with Johnny then about America, and America I thought showed that experience and sternness and steel under difficult circumstances, and I thought Monterrey didn't. I thought Monterrey, they looked weak. They looked like they were going to buckle at certain points, as Tigres were kind of flying forward. So I think that's one worry moving forward into the obviously the semis and the final. Although that might be just what Monterrey needs to sort themselves out, wake up, and kind of get over this slump. I mean, they've been qualified for like the last month basically, so it's not easy sometimes either to just hit the playoffs in that way. And then the other thing is, I don't know. I mean, did you guys think it was a red card for Juninho? Because I mean,
he already had a
I
yellow.
thought it was borderline. Yeah, I mean, the second yellow, definitely not. I mean, I thought it was borderline. Honestly, I know Tuca's going absolutely crazy there. What I'd say is, why did Juninho, the captain of the team, who's already on a yellow card, when the ball's going out of play? I mean, that's a stupid thing to do.
It was a stupid.
For me, what you're doing there, you're putting the referee in the position to make a decision. And I think Tuca's not actually right to kind of go absolutely crazy at the ref for that incident. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it was, it was definitely not a yellow card. What I'm saying it was a borderline one. But I thought the player put the referee in the position to make a decision.
Look at the play that's there, guys.
I don't even think it's a borderline play. To me, there's no doubt. It's a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. Why has Liga Mx become such a pansy league that you can't go in shoulder-to-shoulder without the referee?
No, taking
out cards. Same thing happened to Sambuesa in the first leg of the America Chivas game. Just because you're already on a yellow does not mean that the rules all of a sudden change and shoulder-to-shoulder becomes a card-worthy offense.
No, but I agree with the shoulder-to-shoulder, right? It's not a shoulder-to-shoulder. When the ball's already going out of bounds, it wasn't creating. You can give a yellow card for not necessarily for a foul, but for an action that causes you to either be violent or in any way. You can do shoulder-to-shoulder. If I'm walking outside of the line and someone shoulder-to-shoulder me, and it has nothing to do with the play because the play was already going. That's why he gave the yellow. You shouldn't do that. That just causes more violence in the game. And he gave him the yellow, and good. He already had a yellow. He was already warned for it.
But in that play, the Monterrey player was shielding the ball so it can go out of bounds.
I don't think he would.
Of course, the Tigres players could have come in and challenge, and he did so with a legal challenge.
I don't think he was shouldering the ball at all. We definitely got to look at that, but it was unnecessary, and I think that's where it comes from.
En Spanish the word is desmesurado, ¿no? Desmesurado, el empujón fue desmesurado.
Yeah, just because you do that in the play. Yeah, I don't think it was
more of a budge.
Even if it was a shoulder to shoulder, but it caused no play. Like, you can't just shoulder to shoulder somebody before it. As a captain and having a yellow already doing that is just stupid. Let's just say that it looked a lot worse from the angle that the ref is, because at the same time the ref is in one place. We're looking at it from the camera angle in the front. He's from behind. You could totally see the action. Regardless, he could make a mistake. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. But you're a player that already has a yellow and you're doing something that unnecessary, especially. Of course, and you know what? Tuca's gonna react, and you're getting it like that.
But the rules don't change when you're already on a yellow. The rules have to stay the same. If a shoulder-to-shoulder is legal, it has to be legal even for players already on a yellow card.
No. But I'll take the yellow out. Let's take the yellow out of it. If he did that, I think he would have still gotten a yellow for it. I honestly do. I honestly do because it meant there's a reason why you should do a shoulder to shoulder when you're both going for a ball and you're coming in. The other player wasn't doing a shoulder to shoulder play, and that's where it came from. It
No,
was
he was.
totally unnecessary.
No, he's gone in with his elbow as well. I'm just looking at it again. Like he goes over and it's like he's made a sideways move away from the natural where the ball's going. I don't know. I mean, I'm saying it's. I don't know. I think Tuca.
I mean,
Is usually.
and
I mean,
it was a play.
it's always good fun, but.
Yeah, and it was a
Yeah.
play that sort of changed all of the scheme of things, because when that happens, right away Cesar Montes scores the goal. So I mean, it just totally crumbled down for Tigres after that play. I mean, then Tuca left, and of course Tuca had his rant in the press conference room because un periodista fue terco and didn't.
Tuca, I mean, he was mad already, and he had it for 6 years. Even when we've tried to do something when he was part of the Mexican team, he would always say, "Hay damas, let the damas go first." Man, that guy was insisting. He was able to do that. I honestly thought it was like my dad, man. It reminded me of me yelling at him. And he left. He came back, right?
Yeah, I
Came
think
back.
he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Came back. He wasn't happy. No, but yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really good game. It's a bit of a shame at the sending off, because it would have been absolutely fascinating to see Tigres really go for that third goal, and and to see what the reaction of Monterrey were like. Obviously, they scored right after, and it was pretty much game over. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. You can read that any both ways. You know what I mean? But my reading of it is that I don't know what the player's doing there. I honestly don't know. No, none of them are getting the ball. I think he's made a sideways movement, which is not got anything to do with the ball. Carlos Sanchez isn't even kind of pressurizing Juninho. Juninho kind of steps aside and to barge him over, and it's like, I don't know. I think
But the Monterrey player was.
he's
The Monterrey player was kind of there to make sure the ball went out of bounds. Was he not?
Yeah, but just because
the ball was going out.
I'm looking at it again, Johnny. He hits his back. It's shoulder to back. If you shield a player, doesn't mean you can go run into him. Even if you shield it, everyone shields the play. Everyone shields the play. It's known the defender's about to do that. You can't just try to shoulder from shoulder to back when you're doing it and pushing him out of the way, especially if he wasn't going away from the ball.
Similar play. I think it was either Samudio or Golds were shielding a ball, that was going out of bounds over there. And Omar Bravo just comes in and puts his shoulder clearly on the back and sends him into the corner flag. The referee just marks a standard goal kick.
If it was a shoulder to shoulder, but this one was a shoulder to back, then he should have called it.
Yeah.
These plays don't usually get called, especially not for yellow cards. So it was the referee taking the decision to get into the spotlight, because similar plays get called goal kicks.
I don't.
The referee also wanted.
I don't think the referee wants to give a red to be in there. I don't think that he'll gain anything from having a controversial play, Johnny.
Now, how you explain the second penalty for Monterrey?
I don't think that he's doing it. I don't think he's like, I'm going to do a controversial, because I don't think he was able to be. He's not in the semifinals, is he?
No, but whether it's controversial or correct, the referee is going to get a spotlight, whether he's right or wrong, for red cards and penalties.
But
he doesn't. I don't think he. I think if you're going to make the argument, it's that the referees aren't good enough, and I mean that's an argument we hear a lot.
Fine.
Down here in Mexico, obviously, they need more training. They need to be more professional. They need to kind of, to be basically paid more. So you get more people who want to be referees, because they don't actually make much money. So, I mean, you look at that, the Monterrey penalty, and honestly, you see it first time, and you see his hand out there, and it's fast. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying. I mean, it was hit so fast. It'd be harsh to give it a penalty, anyways. But I don't know. I think it's difficult. But yeah, I mean, to be fair to Johnny, I mean, other referees have come out and said, former referees have come out and said, it shouldn't have been a yellow card. So there is an argument there. It's just I just felt, what are you doing? I mean, what are you gaining from doing that?
Could it also be that Juninho was also in past plays like 2-3 minutes before, kind of playing kind of taking a little more violent in his plays, and it was kind of after that second yellow. I think if I remember, he got called for a couple more fouls where it wasn't a yellow, and then again this one. So I mean, it kind of accumulated to like, all right, I've given you warnings, and maybe this one didn't muster that. I mean, the ref could do obviously what he wants in making sure that the game doesn't get out of hand, even though this play ultimately gave, a totally different ending, especially with what happened after that in the momentum. But, I get with you, especially what you say, Tom, about, the refs. I mean, the FMF appointing González Iñárritu to being the commissioner of the ref, I has no idea. I mean, I would have thought that not necessarily a businessman or someone that didn't do that great of a job with the Mexican national team would be now the ref leader. So definitely something to
I think he might have been that before, but I mean,
was he?
Yeah, I mean, I think he was. I think he might have had something to do with the referees commission before, but I don't know. I mean, it brings up the wider subject of when we had the last changeover within the federation, it was like everybody just seemed to move over one, if you know what I mean. Like González Iñárritu moved over to the refs, then Santiago Baños went from assistant coach to sporting director.
Ese grupito que
I mean,
tenemos que tener.
I don't know how you go from assistant manager to the sporting director, but there you go. And then, obviously, Isidro Di Maria went from, Liga Mx president to FMF president. Enrique Bonilla goes from the general secretary of the Liga Mx to the Liga Mx president. It's just, everybody just moves up.
That's what we need to do. That's what's going to happen in the Mexican soccer show. We're going to have a host, and then we're going to form our little grupito right there. Amy, all of a sudden, is going to host it. Amy Azteca is going to host the show next year, and I'm going to move to intern, and we'll be there. All right, guys. Lots of stuff to talk on the chat. Go ahead.
Quick little rant or just thing to throw out there. But I tell you what, I look at the Mexican League and obviously these refereeing issues and, why are we talking about the referees? I mean, we don't want to be. That was an amazing game. The series was absolutely amazing between, for me, two of the best teams we've seen, not just this season, but in recent years in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I'd throw, obviously, America in there with that. But early like the Mexican League, why not throw yourself out there, put your hand up and say, you know what? We want to be one of the first leagues, or we want to be the pilot league for video technology. Video technology.
Do you think don't you need to have the okay from FIFA though, because it is part of the FIFA game and they own everything? If you put a ball in part of it, don't they need to have the okay? Like you can't just have 7 refs if you wanted, or So I think you have to have the okay for that.
You have to go with them, but the what's he called, Infantini? Is that his name? I think he's pretty much in favour of it. So it's like he's just been in Mexico. I mean, I don't know. It's not a well thought out idea, but I just think you remember with the spray.
Yeah, I was about to say the spray.
Now
everyone made fun of it.
And it's like, I mean, yeah, everyone made fun of it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, why not introduce video technology? And be the pilot case for what could be the president for the rest of the world, but I don't know.
You think? I mean, regardless of video technology, if you watch NFL football, there's still going to be dramatic and incorrect play.
Liga MX makes so much money as it is right now. Why would they risk innovation and messing with the formula of success? That's kind of the mentality. I'm not saying that's the correct mentality. That's what people think in Mexico.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I'd also say that if they try and export things, sometimes it's they're hindered by certain practices. Like, I mean, you try and explain to one of like my friends in England about the Mexican League, and you're like, 2 seasons a year, both of them have playoffs. You've got 2 champions a year. You've got the Pacto de Caballeros. It's like it's really hard to it's a difficult league to get into if you don't grow up with it.
But dang, is it exciting!
Anyways.
All right, well, let's talk about the other 2 games. In what was happening, especially León, yes, León and Monterrey, which many people were falling asleep. I was falling asleep in that second leg, especially 1-1. Not much to say. I mean, a lot. Give it up for Chapito Montes and a stellar ida y vuelta on the assist on the goals. It looks like he has finally got over his one of his best friends leaving this club and said, you know what, I guess I got to do this by myself. And in the Guli Peña, and and looking to see a contender. Can Leon surprise? Is a question that I have for you guys, kind of going forward. But Tom, to you with Leon and Morelia again. It looked like Morelia, why were they in the Liguilla, and it was definitely shown a flat, especially in the second leg. It looked like they didn't even show up. 14 seconds, a FIFA goal. I mean, is in the second leg where it looked like seriously one of my Sunday legs when someone is hung over the other team and you're able to just go back and forth. I mean, they looked awful. I could go back to what Mr. Jason Markwood said. What can you expect from another Mesa team? But Marshall, your reactions on Leon Morelia.
Mesa is way more successful than Pena.
True, but lately?
Lately, they're both unsuccessful.
Whatever. Tena still has the auto. Overall, just let it go.
Yeah, Tena can just show the auto all the time.
Yeah. Just I figured. I kept saying, if you do whatever you did with the auto speech, just keep doing that for the next few games. You're ready to go.
Yeah. No. It's. I mean, Morelia. Their battles elsewhere. I mean, I don't know how they've done it. I mean, I look at the team and I think, it's a long way off Tigres, Monterrey, America. I think it's basically made up of kind of players that have come from other teams, and I think that's credit to Mesa that they made the playoffs in the first place. To be honest, because I don't think they should have been anywhere near them. I mean, I think they should be like bottom 4 or 5 of the league. I just don't think the team that they've got is that good.
That's exactly what I was hinting at. That Morelia's players say they should be fighting relegation, which they did. They should be kind of down there in the table, but a quality coach like Mesa got them into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a blessing in disguise as well for Morelia, because they're now going to have like a proper summer break. They're not going to, if you reach the final, then it's cut short by like 2 weeks, the preparation period for the rest period, and then the pre-season, which I think really affects teams as well. I think we've seen that partly with Tigres this season with what happened. But yeah, I mean, I think Leon needed that win. I think they've come together pretty well. I think they've only conceded I think it's 5 goals in the last 7 games now. So defensively, I think Tena's come in. I spoke to William Yarbrough not too many weeks ago, and he said, that's the main thing with Tena. He's made us more organised, kind of away from that Gustavo Matosas all-out attack model, and now they're very organised defensively. So, yeah, I mean, Montes is obviously massive. And what is it now? Like three goals in the last couple of games or something for him. So
yeah,
that's good. I mean, the thing with Leon, I think Elias Hernandez. Obviously, Boselli is absolutely massive for him, and then Luis Montes. If you can get those 3 playing, and obviously Gallito Vasquez holding the midfield, if you can get those players playing, then I think Leon will create chances, and if they keep it tight at the back, then they're a decent team. But again, I still don't think they're that close to Tigres, Monterrey in America. I think there is a bit of a gap. I think the team that kind of bridges that gap at the minute is Pachuca. I think Pachuca are the next team after them, and I think that's why you have to put Pachuca favourite really against the little brother Leon.
It's the other way around. I'm just kidding. No, it's true. I even agree. I mean, looking at Pachuca and looking at what I have, Leon can be so. Which Leon's going to show up? The team that gets scored on 4 goals, or the team that scores 4 goals. I mean, that's how it's been. So. At the same time,
it's an unpredictable series.
Yeah,
no, I think it's an unpredictable series. I think in a way, today Basanta said that América Monterrey is not a final adelantada, but I think that's the final adelantada, Monterrey América. Pachuca showed a lot of bad signs defensively, I would say, against Santos. Stefan Medina is sort of the weak link, and today we're reading reports that Raúl Deditos López could be landing over there in Pachuca, and it makes sense. They need a right back because Stefan Medina is not a right back. He's actually a center back converted into a right back. So I think looking here at these 2 teams, Boselli could be the difference maker, because Boselli has a lot of experience, as does Chapito as well. there with that bicampeonato. But you also have that flavor with that sort of sense with Pachuca and the Three Musketeers, which is Chucky Lozano, Pizarro, and Guti Gutierrez. And so it should be an exciting match that's going to go down to the wire, and it's really unpredictable to tell who's going to end up victorious.
Yeah, I'm with you right there on what you were saying. The little, the Grupo Pachuca.
It's a good point. I think with Pachuca as well. I think if you've got a real complaint, is that they miss a lot of chances. I think they don't have that striker like Boselli, whose conversion rate is actually very close to Gignac in terms of minutes to goals ratio, because he's played less games this season. I mean, I think it's like 23 goals in the last 30 games for him, but in the Apertura and Clausura. I mean, it's an amazing stat, and Boselli, we don't talk about anywhere near as much as Gignac, but he really is right up there.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it looks like they have someone up front that is commanding, that can surprise you, and then that midfield that Leon's always was really good with, especially under Matosas. Needing it, and defensively, what they're doing, they're defensively not conceding, just like you said. And I know we have a lot. We don't have that much time, but to go really quick, and then we'll go into our preview just a little bit on what's happening this weekend. But last game we were talking about Pachuca Santos, a game where towards the end, I mean, I think very interesting in the way that that game kind of ended, and it was still kind of keep going on the last 10 minutes of that game. Almost all of them exciting. Especially in what Liga MX represents. But Naive, you were talking a little more about Santos and not be able to pull it through again. A team that's been, it's constantly been in semifinales in the Liguilla, and now Pachuca going forward. But that very interesting. I know they fought till the end, and it wasn't until obviously the whistle blew that Santos, still had the chance, right?
Yeah, I think they played those who got booked a silly red in the last game of the regular season, and I think that cost them, and having that leadership in the center back position. And then in the second leg, Marchesín was not present, and I think that also hurt them. But throughout the season, and I think throughout the last two seasons in particular with Santos, what is hurting that team is that it really doesn't have a striker. Right now, when you see these four teams that are in the semis, you see Funes Mori, Boselli, Franco Jara, Oribe Peralta, Darwin Quintero, and Benedetto, but it's Oribe Peralta, the only real good Mexican forward that we have in Liga Mx at the moment. So when you don't have that, you're not gonna compete. It's interesting that the four teams that are in the semis are the four best offensive teams in the regular season. So it tells you a little bit there that if you don't score goals in Liga MX, you're not gonna go far. And I think that's the problem with Santos, and it was also the problem with Chivas. At the end of the day, it's about goals here. It was pretty basic, pretty cliche, but I think in Liga MX, it's really noticeable that if your team can't score goals, you're out of it basically.
Yeah. I think interesting today. I think Santos Laguna have come out and said that Zubeldia is going to stay on. And I say that's interesting because I think not just the lack of the striker, but I think that this is a team and a manager. He's 35 years old. I think he wants to play in a different way, in a way that I don't think we see too often in the Liga MX. Because remember that CONCACAF Champions League against America? They did basically nothing. Apart from defend well, you know what I mean. And I think that I'm fascinated to see now next season. What they can add, and whether they can become like a kind of different, a bit like they were under Caixinha, to add a different style, a different flavor, a different way of thinking about tactically about the game and stuff like that. Because I feel like one of the features of the Mexican League is there are so many attacking teams, and it'll be interesting to see if Santos can become that kind of Mourinho style, that kind of Simeone style team. If Zubeldia is given a bit of time.
Man, Caixinha, just remember that he's coaching in Qatar. That just shows you. Wow.
Yeah.
Santos, I feel Santos has a quarterfinals type of squad, and I think they played to their mat. They reached where they needed to reach. and I like the fact that a manager like on it, Santos has always had a good reputation of following through on projects. Caixinha was an example. I think Caixinha should have, in my personal opinion, should have been fired long before he was gone. But Santos were patient with him, and I like the fact that Santos are patient with Sevildia. Yeah, they do need a striker. They haven't had they've had a Chuleta, but they've never had a striker in
Who?
recent years. So
El
they've
Toro.
had a Chuletita. Who?
El Oso.
Also?
No, I mean, they
Yeah, it
sell
was
the
the
best
last
players.
time.
That's the other thing with Santos. I mean, they sell the best players. I mean, look at America. Who won the game for America against Chivas?
Oribe.
Darwin Quintero across to Oribe. I mean, there's two Santos players right there. So I don't know. I don't know. We've talked about it before, but obviously Santos are a different kind of club.
Yeah. All right, guys. I know it's getting towards the end. Let's talk about what's happening this week coming up. The Wednesday and Saturday game, which will be already just like Naive said, probably the most interesting, most exciting matchup. Almost ahora ya es la final, like many people are talking on Monterrey, America. 6:30 kickoff time, p.m. Pacific. 10:30, no, 9:30 Eastern time if you're in the East Coast. But we're able to see, it's going to be an exciting game, definitely. It'd be hard to pick a winner just because I feel still, what America has in wanting to see, especially that matchup with Mohamed coming back. I am sure it's going to be a little dramatic start of the week, especially with what's happening in the history of Mohamed and America. But not only that, on the field, two probably the best clubs that on Liga MX right now are facing it. Oh, and then we wanted to mention 1, 2, 3, and 4 actually made it in Liga MX. Wondering if when's the last time that has happened. If anybody on the chat, if you remember a 1, 2, 3, and 4 making it on the Liguilla, I know it's been a while. So if you're on the chat and you can look back, a special props to you if you can tell me the last time that happened, the first 4 team that went to Liguilla. But anyways, back to the preview. We'll start with you, Johnny. Giving us a little preview of what's happening in America and Rayados. Mohamed did say that they faced the hardest team already, which was Tigres. Already, a little fuel on the fire. What do you think?
Well, to go back to what you just said, that 1, 2, 3, and 4 major, America are now paying the price for not winning against Pumas. America are now the lowest seeded team in the playoffs, and they will no longer have home field advantage for second legs. If now they'll be down, they'll have the disadvantage if both equal amount of away goals. So now America's paying the price. They have to face the toughest team. I'll say this: Monterrey, I think, are stronger right now than America, but America have the experience of knowing how to sit back. I think now the attacking pressure and it's going to be on Monterrey. I think they have a stronger attack. So I think America's counterattack will decide this. We saw that Monterrey respond well to the Tigres pressure. So I can see America causing a little more trouble to Monterrey in that aspect. So it's going to be very close, and I think the champion is going to come out of the series.
Yeah, I agree with Johnny there. I think these two teams are also very experienced. I think you've got a lot of, you look at we don't mention really Carlos Sanchez and what an impact he's had on this league because he's been absolutely sensational this season for Monterrey. But I don't know. Johnny you said there about America on the counter attack. But I see also Monterrey being pretty good counter-attacking team, and you can see you can trace, I think, the link from Mohamed's America and now what he's got going on at Monterrey. Honestly, it's difficult to split. I mean, if I was, I've gone with America. I wrote a story today. I said America for the title, and the only reason is, I just think they've been there, and that for me, it just worried me a little bit what happened to Monterrey when the pressure was on there at home as well against Tigres.
Yeah, I think what I see there with this series with Turco against Ambrices America is that I think Turco wants this moment. I think he's been thinking about it since he left America. It's like I want to have this moment to eliminate America at a at a big moment. This is a centennial year we're talking about here. This is big. So I mean, I think Turco, when he came to Azteca a couple of weeks ago, you could see on his eyes this fire. That is like, I was so close. It was a 3-3 draw, amazing game. The first match in the regular season, by the way. And Carlos Sanchez was a key player there. I think Carlos Sanchez could be the next
He could be.
Could
Could
be,
be.
couldn't.
Could be.
Naive like
To
always has
be or
like
not to be.
it
Carlos
cuts off.
Sanchez.
It cuts off at like the best time Naeem's talking. It could be.
Yeah,
Naive, if you can hear.
I think it's going to be a different kind of game to that 3-3 that Naib was mentioning there, just for the sole reason it's obviously two legs, you've got away goals counting, and I think that was a game where pretty much Monterrey and America were already pretty much qualified for the Liguilla. So I think they were kind of special circumstances, so I think we're going to see a much more cagey game between two managers who kind of, I think they prioritise a balanced team. Neither of them are defensive. I think they prioritise a kind of balanced setup to all out attack. So I think we're going to see a lot of caginess, and I think the difference between them is going to be whichever one of the strike forces wins out, and both of them are absolutely potent. I mean, Edwin Cardona on one of the wings there, and then Pavon and Funes Mori, and obviously Sanchez. I mean, that's a lot of goals there. And then you look at America and what we mentioned earlier on in the show. I mean, there's a lot of there's goals from everywhere in that America team as well.
Well, you said it. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting. I feel like I think America is going to pull through. I think it's going to be definitely very close, but I'll go with my prediction from the beginning of the season. I think this is America's tournament, and they're able to win, and with what they have and everyone kind of pulling together. That's only if Leon doesn't make it to the final, FYI. Just like but
I went with Monterrey at the start of the season. I predicted Monterrey for the title. But I don't know. I think I've got America to go through now. They're kind of matched up, and I've seen America. I think the CONCACAF Champions League. I think that was quite big for America. I think it really provided with him a real injection of confidence, and I think Ambriz needed it. He needed that trophy. Whereas Monterrey, they've been brilliant all season, but they've not done anything for the last 5-6 weeks now. And then when the pressure was on against that Tigres team, I thought they buckled a little bit. So I don't know. I'm going slightly with America, but really not a lot in it.
The only thing that I think America needs to watch out for is the red cards. They've been doing great, kind of.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not saying that it wasn't, but I just feel that it's like, okay, we're okay. We've been fine. We haven't had a game really lost because we lost our cool for a while. But just be careful.
So no shoulder-to-shoulder challenge.
And no shoulder-to-shoulder depends. They'll do the shoulder-to-shoulder. But yeah, I concur. I think America, in what we're seeing, what people are saying in the chat right now, Monterrey, and just like you're saying, Tom, they showed that they weren't the best team, even though they do have that. But again, anything can happen in this Liga MX. I'm still thinking America will be in the final. Johnny, obviously, you are saying America too, but give us your reasons objectively, if that can happen.
Yeah, no, I think America are going to be in the final because I think. Both like I said, both managers know how to attack. They know how to sit back, but I think Monterrey's offensive is stronger, so just a little more pressure is going to be on Monterrey to attack, especially in the second leg. And I can see America grabbing some away goals in that second leg to kind of put them over the edge. I think the Wednesday game is going to be very close. I can see a 0-0, 1-1 draw, but then on Monterrey on Saturday, I can see a 3-3 or 4-4 draw, and which is those shootouts are definitely going to favor America, especially back and look to poach those away goals.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if America can get in front ahead of the second leg, I think it's massive because then you force Monterrey to attack, and that's where America on the counter. We've talked about it earlier in the show. That's where America are absolutely potent, just dangerous.
Yeah, and on the chat, this is what they're saying that. So Johnny, what you're saying is a Nacho over Mohamed, right? Just for the.
No, I'm saying America over Monterrey. But Mohamed's still my favorite coach in the entire league. With good arguments, I think he's the best coach in the entire league. But I'm pulling for America over Monterrey, not Nacho over
I would
Mohamed.
go with Piojo. I would go with Piojo. Definitely Piojo. Naim Moran, you're back. Had a little problems there with the internet, but we didn't get to hear your prediction for Saturday overall in the week, Wednesday and Saturday with the Rayados Águilas.
Well, I think we had to write this piece with Tom about the predictions and stuff for ESPN FC, and I have Monterrey going all the way
Dun,
to
dun, dun.
winning it, the whole thing, todo, llevársela hasta la Sultana del Norte. I think the offense that they have is just it's just amazing right now. I mean, in an article that I did recently, I called them the Fantastic Four: Sanchez, Pavon, Cardona, and Funes Mori. And right now, America's offense is not working. I mean, I think that's the thing to worry about. It's Peralta's the only one scoring. Benedetto only has one goal in the league. And last season, Benedetto was crucial for America. So I think they have to wake up if they want to advance against Rayados.
Well, there it is. Naib keeping it with Rayados and saying it'll win again. Really quick, Johnny and Tom, Naib, Pachuca Leon.
Pachuca, I mean, yeah. I go Pachuca, me. I think they've been the better team for the majority of the season. I think the better team in general. Yeah, and I mean it's the battle of the kind of clubs that are owned by Grupo Pachuca. And I don't know. I mean, my prediction is Pachuca. I'll just make a quick point that there's been a lot of people in Marco Garces today, and I think the Pachuca president Jesus Martinez has been talking about, we're sick of people kind of bringing up the fact that we're both owned by the same people, blah 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 blah. And then on the other hand, there's other stories on I think ESPN Mexico have got a story saying that Chivas are negotiating with Grupo Pachuca for Raul Lopez and then Luis Montes and Pizarro. Now, all right, forget the rumors and all that, but Chivas are negotiating with one group for two players on two different teams. I mean, you can't have it both ways, can you?
Delos Lopez, hope he goes to Leon, please. I mean,
De Pizarro to Chivas, that's crazy.
The multipropiedades, people have been talking about it, especially with what's happening, but just like, I'm sure you remember the Necaxa America days, right, Johnny?
Yeah, those. I mean, as an Americanista, though, it was fun to hear people complain about it. So, yeah. I don't know if Pachuca and Leon fans have the same thick skin that America fans have. So
We're brothers.
it doesn't. It doesn't sound like if people are already complaining about the fact that everybody always brings it up. So it's
well. I mean, I just think
it's Mexican football. It's Mexican football. It is what it is.
And I don't know. I mean, the thing is, the doubt is, or the thing that people say is that obviously they want Pachuca to go through because Pachuca are the institution they put more money in. That's where they put the university. That's the big campus, and I don't know. I mean, I think wherever there's a doubt, it has to be negative.
I really don't think that Boselli is going, yes, let's. Luis Montes. No. The players are going to be like, yeah, we would definitely want our parent company to have Pachuca.
Definitely not. But I guarantee you, a lot of fans think there is something going on, and that's as damaging.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. As a Leon fan, I have never. I don't know. Maybe because we were in the lower division and we won it to the final, then we got to bicampeonatos. The bicampeonato. I'm like, yes, definitely.
Plus, both the clubs do well. Both the clubs do really well out of it, and then you've got Zacatecas Mineros, who are also doing really well, and they've got a really good project as well. So it's give and take in it. But I mean, in an ideal world, you wouldn't have two clubs in an 18-team league.
But it is
with your dad and then the son as presidents.
That's got to be a great conversation, and that dinner, in that dinner table.
Yeah, can you imagine it when they were like, all right, you know, when you have to like kind of meet with the other club to kind of decide what time and what days you're playing, and he just rings up his the dad just rings up his kid. All right, son, we're playing at this time, son.
Yeah, I really think
You
it's
better
like,
be there. Bring your team.
you know how you always want to beat your dad, or maybe you compete or whatever at the time. It's like, man, this is your project, this is mine, and yours is better. But we'll see where it goes. All right, guys, we're running out of time. Quick on the news on what's happening. Obviously, congratulations to Raúl Jiménez becoming the first Mexican to win the league in Portugal. Big feast. Joins 12 other players of Liga MX. Lots, especially I think a great season for the Europeos with Layun, with with what's been happening with Chicharito in Germany. So a great way to end, a great way to transition into the Copa America. Other news: Carlos Vela is, if you're in Oakland, I think he's at going to a Warriors game, so you might catch him there. He's there to play a friendly, I think, with Real Sociedad, signing autographs. So you may be able to catch him there. But overall, El3 News, you should be able to see the 23 man list coming up in the next couple of days. It's due the 20th. That's
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow is what everyone are seeing. So keep an eye out. As soon as the list comes out, I'm sure we're going to try to get some kind of show going on and seeing what's happening. But very busy week, especially if the list comes out tomorrow. Obviously the Wednesday, Thursday, and a break on Friday. Then you got the Saturday, Sunday game. So lots and lots in Liga MX here in Mexican football. Keep with Mexican Soccer Show. What other news?
Hey, Wiesel, real quick, Wiesel.
What's that, Johnny?
You asked when's the last time 1, 2, 3, and 4 went through.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, I quickly glanced at this. I think it's the 2007 Clausura.
Okay.
The last.
I know. I don't remember.
1, 2, 3, and 4 went through.
Chivas played America then as well, no?
Well, the quarterfinals were Tigres, Chivas, Estudiantes Tecos, Cruz Azul, Santos, Pachuca, and Atlas America.
Man, I couldn't remember that. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone on the chat. Thank you. Lots and lots of talking about. They're talking about Toulon tournaments, talking about Gio, talking about Vela. Our very own Jason Markowitz giving his insight, saying that I think we've been talking about shoulder to shoulder for many minutes, and we should shut up about it. So, even Jason Markowitz gives us his 2 cents here on the chat. So thank you for all, obviously, everyone on there. We'll continue with the Mexican Soccer Show. Join us on Facebook. Please like our page. Thank you to Miss Amy Azteca. She is our intern, doing a great job today with the live tweeting, and overall we'll have a little fun quinela between all of us in the semifinals. That should be coming out soon. And thank you to all for keep on listening here at the Mexican Soccer Show. Thank you to FootMex Source, Mr. Tom Marshall for joining us, Naib Moran, and Johnny Rico here. Make sure you follow all of us on Twitter, and we'll be obviously keeping you in all the information that's been happening on the Mexican Soccer Show Twitter. Lots of great articles from all of us, Tom, Naive, Cesar, and Johnny and Jason. So definitely love all the articles that are coming out. And after Liga, here comes the Copa America. So it's going to be a great summer for all of you guys with lots of show, and we appreciate all of the viewership and all the likes that you guys have. Guys, any last words? Naive, Tom? No, Tom's battery ran out. He was saying his battery ran out on his new laptop. But Naive, close us off.
Yeah. I mean, I think the list. The list is important. We'll see who's in it. I got a feeling. It could be Bella out, Gio out, or both in. That's gonna be something special to see, and see how many of the U20 players will be in that list. In the Copa America.
Very good. That's actually I think Gio stays. I think Vela would probably, if there's anybody of those that are not gonna go, but I don't know. I think Osorio wants to see, so especially when we come. But all right, Johnny, we'll see you later, sir. We'll talk to you, Mr. Naib. See you guys. And again, this has been another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. We'll see you guys hopefully this week on a special edition for the list. Maybe a quick show regarding the games that are coming up Saturday and Sunday after the IDAS. And we'll keep it right here at the Mexican Soccer Show.